So in terms of tools that we'll be looking at, one is Canva, because come on now, it's the DIYer's graphic designer in your hand. And I know some graphic designers have a real problem with this because they're like, how dare they? How dare they say that amateur people can create graphics? Meanwhile, it's like, I can't bring in a graphic designer every time I need to change a word, move something over. Like, come on. We are business owners. We need to move quickly, right? So we're recording. So I just noticed. Okay, good. Now we can get started. So Canva, I'm a big, big advocate for. The free version is there, but I would get the paid version. You can just like limitless possibilities. And then having a scheduling tool to make your life easier because you busy and ain't nobody has time to be sitting around posting all damn day. Nobody. Okay, good. So the actual presentation itself is going to be me taking you through the workbook and then coming out of it. And we're going to do some actual live like coaching here on the call as well. Can everybody see the workbook? Someone give me a thumbs up. Okay, good. Because I'm on two screens. I want to make sure you guys can see it. All right, perfect. So you guys, if you didn't know, now you know. It's close to 2 billion people on Instagram. Can you just like imagine that? This is like insanity. Okay, so there are close to 2 billion people on Instagram. So not being on Instagram, as far as I'm concerned, as a business owner, is not really an option. Now, what you do on there is different for everybody, depending on where your customer is and depending on what your business is, right? But in this workshop, we're going to talk about how to create a brand that feels authentic to you, how to get your profile noticed, how to craft that juicy bio, because guys, we only have 150 characters to let people know what we do and the value we have, the formula to creating juicy captions, and my recommendations for my favorite tools. So while I was creating this workshop, I was like, we could just talk Instagram, but here's the thing. The reason Instagram works for some and not others is because the ones who are building cohesion like a brand are the ones who are standing out. That is the most important thing I wanted to get. So we couldn't go dive right into building out the grid before we talked about your brand and the little pieces that you need to be doing and taking care of before you can do that. So you guys can read a lot of this on your own. I'm not going to go line for line because we would be here until the end of time. But one thing I do want to make sure that all of you get is excuses ain't gonna cut it. I know everyone, including myself some days, trust me, have excuses for why we do not want to be on the gram. Okay, so I want to know, I want you to put it in the chat, which one of these excuses, and maybe you have another one that is causing you from not being consistent or showing up at all on this platform, right? Some of you are like, I have like 3 followers. Some are like, I'm too old to do this. My business isn't interesting. You know, last week we spoke to somebody who was it that had the fish fertilizer business. And you're like, nobody wants to hear about this. I was like, this is super cool, right? It's all about how you position it. Some of you are like, I don't even have a business yet. What am I doing over here? And I can't remember your name right now. Forgive me because my mind is a sieve, first of all. But there's somebody who's a photographer and she wants to showcase her photography from Guatemala, which I've been to Guatemala, which is a super amazingly beautiful place. It has so much richness there. And she was like, you know, like, how do I talk about this thing when I haven't actually started yet? And for anyone in that position of, I don't know, you know, I don't have anything to sell yet, or I'm not sure about what my business is yet. I want you to get that you want to build the audience, the community, and the fans before you've ever launched anything. We think that what's going to happen is just like with our website, right? We're like, okay, I'm not going to tell anybody about anything until my website is up, right? And then you go and you press live. This literally happened to me with my first business. I spent so much money. This was before the Shopify's and Squarespaces. It was so easy now to like build one. Paid all this money, did this photography, did a photo shoot. This is when I was an accessory designer, so it was very product based. And I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be amazing. I hit live and crickets, right? Like nobody knows. Nobody is sitting. It's not like a corner store. People are walking by. It's on the internet. Literally nothing happened. 4 months. And I was like, oh, I don't understand. I have this new website. Why isn't everybody looking at me? Because nobody knows it exists, right? So I want you to think about that when you're building anything, whether you're doing a launch, whether you're launching a webinar. Create your runway. Tell people about it, right? Get people excited. So no matter what industry you're in, Instagram can be used as part of your marketing strategy. So in the workbook, you've got 3 examples. These are all clients of mine, all very different industries, right? You have a baker, real estate agent, psychotherapist. So I want you for yourselves, especially those who have printed out this workbook, I need you to initial all of these boxes, not some of them, all of them, because this is your commitment to you that you're going to go and get this done. So you're going to declare that it is not a hobby. This is not a hobby. We are not, guys, you ain't got time. I don't have kids and some of you guys do. So I know you don't have time to be making Instagram a hobby. So it is not a hobby. It is a place to do and promote your business. You're going to commit to posting and engaging. So it's not enough to post and ghost, right? This is a lot of things people are talking about right now on Instagram is, guys, you're making mistakes that you're posting and then you're disappearing and you're not interacting with your audience. It's a very valid point because Instagram rewards engagement. So it's not, as much as it is about us, it's not about us, right? We post our thing. You got to stick around or at least come visit back on the post and see if anyone said anything. And if they did, fantastic. You've got to engage with them. Let them know you appreciated it. Let them know, ask a question. And we'll get into like captions and engagement later, but don't post and ghost. Then somebody had asked last week, how much do I put of myself on the gram? Big question, super important question. What I like to say is, first of all, don't put anything on social media, period, that you wouldn't put on a billboard, first and foremost. But you definitely want to humanize your brand. So people want to see people, whether it's yourself, whether it's people in your business, whether it's team, whether it's your baby, they do want to see it, but there has to be a reason for it being there. So is it to showcase your personality? Have you talked about your business a lot lately and now you're trying to show the behind the scenes of how you made it happen? So for example, I showed the behind the scenes this morning of creating the workbook, right? It's already created, but I was like, getting excited, let people know. So bringing people behind the scenes, showing that people, there's a human behind what you're doing, super important. You're going to design your Instagram with intention. And then we're going to talk about building that brand aesthetic. You're going to learn the rules of the platform. This is one that I know some of you who are non-techies, which is me. I hate all tech, which gets in my way. You know, I'm doing a 14-day reel challenge right now. So if you look at my Instagram feed, you'll see it's looking a bit, you know, all over the place because they're like, this doesn't look aesthetically pleasing, but there's strategic to the madness. I have everyone who's inside of my membership. We're doing a 14-day reels challenge because we don't want to do reels. And Instagram went and put in this new friggin' tool we have to use. But the thing about it is they are rewarding people who are using the new features. That's what they always do because they want to kick TikTok out the water. And they do that by taking their stuff and making us use it. And they penalize everyone else for not using it. That's why I got this love-hate relationship with these guys, right? They are penalizing people, meaning they're not showing you're not showing your post to as many people if you're not doing reels. Reels are getting the most important real estate right now. So knowing the rules of the platform so you can optimize on it, and you want to map out a strategy. So the overwhelm comes, we talked about this last week, the overwhelm comes from not having a strategy, not having a goal, have no idea what you want to talk about. So you sit there, you hold your phone in your hand, you're like, what am I going to post today? Nobody wants to know about my cat. What? I didn't go anywhere. It's COVID. Oh, I didn't make any sales. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And you don't, right? So when we have a strategy planned out in advance, then we don't run into these problems. And when we schedule it, again, we can avoid all of these problems. So first things first, let's talk about building yourself as the brand. Now, if any of you guys were in a workshop we did last year with Accelerate at the summit, we probably did this exercise around the juicy wordplay, right? So if you have your words, pull them out. If they've changed, then you want to do this again. But here's what I want you to get. All of the decisions we make are emotional, right? So we've got to hit the people on the emotional level. But in order to do that, we need to know what types of emotions do we want people to feel when they interact with us and our brand. We've got to know it. We actually
back in class.
Ooh, did I miss something?
Sorry, Charmaine, if you can just click mute. Oh, there we go.
Oh, hey, Sarah.
Hi, sorry, I snuck it.
That's okay. So the juicy wordplay, I'm going to actually give you a little bit of time to do this. I want you to think about what are the juicy words you want associated with your brand, your message, who you are. And I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to dump all the words you can think of, right? So here are a few examples, but I mean, if you want to go on Thesaurus, I love going on Thesaurus to find words that really are authentic to me, my brand. You know, if anyone looks at Monique, you'll see, you know, loud, bold, exciting. I want women to feel empowered, you know, like this unapologetic of going after your thing, right? So what is it for you? Yours may not be anything like that, and it's fine. There is no right or wrong. It's about knowing. It's about knowing where you stand and what it is you're trying to convey. Because when you know this, you can build content using those words as a compass, looking through that lens. So if anyone's having problems, we're actually going to let's pick someone, because I'd love to hear somebody with their words, because the goal is because we're going to move quickly today, because I have a tendency to go over. I'm going to move quickly, but questions are welcome. Please put them in the chat. We will answer them right here in the moment. We don't have to wait till the end. I'm going to leave Sarah and Jenna to look into that because I can't see the chat box right now. But once you have them all dumped out, what I like to do is I then try to narrow it down to their top 3 or 5. And the way you know these are your words is because they literally jump off the page to you. Like you feel it in your body, the words, when you say it. So when I say juicy, because one of Monique's, I don't know how I don't have it on the damn thing. It doesn't say juicy, it says excited and bold. But because juicy is so ingrained in me, that is my number 1 word for my brand. Because I say, if it's not juicy and delicious, do something else, because really life is too short, right? So when I hire people and they create things for me, when I read copy and I read it, when I read my own copy, I have to look through a lens of, is it juicy, right? So who wants to share? I would love someone tell me their words. I don't know if somebody wants to pick somebody. Let's see. I have 3, I think, says Kendra. Trendsetter, bold, and fun. That's Kendra. So my question to you, Kendra, would be, when you look at those words, when you say those words, do you feel it in your body? Like, do you see you creating content from that place of being a trendsetter, of being bold, of being fun? Because all those things, I love all the words, all of those things are like, they're going to dictate your color story. They're going to dictate the types of fonts that you use. They're going to dictate the types of photos that you use. So who else? I want some more words. Oh, somebody asked if I can enlarge the PDF. Yes. How's that? Perfect. We've got, so hard. Authentic, diverse, and colorful, says Cecilia. Love it. So diverse, colorful, authentic. Okay, so this is perfect. So let's talk about the word authentic for a second, guys, because authentic is one I guarantee 95% of you guys are going to have.
Nikki, ask yourself.
Hey, Julie, sorry to interrupt you. If you could just mute yourself. And Sue Kenny, if you can mute yourself too, that would be awesome.
Awesome. These random things are coming out. I'm like, what's happening? So authentic is unique to everybody, right? So what's authentic to Monique is not necessarily what's authentic to Cecilia. So if anyone has picked authentic, I want you to pick another word that also means authentic to you. So for example, Monique's version of authentic is showcasing, going online all the time, doing a lot of video, coming out here. That's authentic. That's actually authentic to me, right? Being visible, being out here, and encouraging other people to do the same. That may not be your version of authenticity. So if you did pick authentic, I want to challenge you to pick even another word. Alex is saying empowered, youthful, and connected. Love it. Michelle, dynamic, inspiring, insightful. Perfect. Kendra saying, I also love classical, dainty stuff, and that sells more on my style. Perfect. Classical.
Hi, Sue. Can you hear me, Sue?
also plunge in the lake all winter long, and I.
Oh, she's talking about swimming. Okay. Sue, can you mute? We're trying to mute her from our end. I'm really sorry to interrupt again, Monique.
It's okay. Is there a mute all button?
I know. Jenna's gonna transfer host so that I can get a little bit bossier.
Yeah, get the bossy on. Get the bossy on.
Okay.
Can I ask a question, Monique?
Yes, you can.
Would you say empowered is another word that maybe you
Yes.
could find other words? I
Thank
feel
you.
like that
I'm
word
so
gets
happy you
used a
said
lot.
this, Jen. Yes. That was literally the next thing I was going to say. And I think I said that in the very first workshop, like when we talked about these juicy words. Empowered is another one of those words, because you're right. What's empowering to Monique is not the same thing necessarily that's empowering to Jen. It might be, but if you pick a different word, you will attract those people who are your people. Perfect. Great example. Could it be genuine? Genuine to replace authentic. So again, I would say they're the same thing. So I would pick another one. I'm going to challenge you. This, and guys, if this is difficult, it's supposed to be. Like it's fun, but it's not as simple as people may think. This is your brand. This is who you're saying you are in the world. This is who you're saying when you show up and you pick that outfit and you're about to go live, what that's going to be. And I know it's COVID, so a lot of people are like, Monique, what outfit? But in general, when we can attend in live again, and I would recommend to pay attention to these things if you are going to be going live virtual, because it is your brand. These are the words you're going to be using as a lens. So this activity, I work one-on-one with clients. Like, this takes time. I give them a week to come up with this before we ever even do anything. So I love that you guys are like diving right in. Uplifting, I like uplifting. Pampering, safe. So even pampering, is pampering like glamorous? Is it, give me more on pampering. And safe, I'm going to say definitely pick another word, because safe is, what is safe? What is safe for some may not be safe for others. Also, again, I want you guys to really tap into these words. Do you feel it in your soul? Right? Calming, great, wonderful. Okay, guys, so you guys get the point. I want you to write it down, and I definitely want you to come back and revisit. So you have a space in your workbook to pick your top 5, and I encourage you to write them on a sticky and put them around places when you're doing your work, because it really helps you when you create a caption, right? Captions are not, I'm not going to say they're not easy, but they can be challenged if copy's not your thing, but if you're looking at something, you're like, does this bring me joy? Will it bring my client joy? Is this professional? Is this helpful? Does this make me look like an expert? Is this juicy in Monique's case, right? You want to have your words nearby, so you're building it from that lens. Then the next thing I want you to do in order to establish your brand is I want you to write out your juicy claim to fame. So this is totally done in point form, but what this looks like is you're going to write out, because sometimes we forget how awesome we are. We really do. And the best way for you guys to remind yourselves of the experts that you are in whatever it is that you do is to actually write out what you've accomplished, how far you've come. So I want you to take the next few minutes and I want you to write out all of your accomplishments that led you to today. And I know some of you guys are like, Monique, I need more than a few minutes, which is perfect. But I want you to maybe think about it in the context of the thing that you would be coming online to talk about, right? So if I use my own example, my background's in fashion design. I have a BA in fashion design, but some of my first jobs was helping on photo shoots. Like, that was part of the game, right? I wasn't trained to do that. This is part of what you need to do. You need to be able to take good photos. You need to be able to bring people in. I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll do that. Then I went on to have my own business. I couldn't hire a creative director. I had to be my own creative director. So I was like, okay, I'll hire all the team and I'll do the photo shoot and we'll take these amazing pictures and make these crazy jewelry pieces that makes everybody want them. Then I went and I was a product developer for Walmart head office for all of their outdoor summer living decor. So all the things you would see in the flyers, they have all these different lines. They were like, okay, part of what you need to do is you need to create the photos that go on all the labels. So you need to go source these houses, go on set, find all the props, set up the tables as if there's some outdoor summer picnic. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't know nothing about that, man. I did not even have a backyard at that time. I was like, what are you talking about? But that was the job. And I had to learn it, and I had to learn on the fly, and I had all of these great professionals around me. So I learned how to do this. And I didn't know that later that would become part of my business. So today I do personal brand photo shoots for my clients. I'm not the photographer. I'm not the makeup artist. I'm not even the stylist. I bring all these people in, but I know each one of their jobs, and I look at the entire picture to make sure it's on brand and it goes off without a hitch. So all the propping that happens in it, all of that, I didn't know it was setting me up. My past was setting me up for my today. And now I'm like, this is so natural to me. Of course, this is what I'm doing. So I want you to think about it in that context. I also want you to write out certifications, trainings, any awards you've received, any podcasts you've been on, press. I don't even care if your job gave it to you, if you did you were chosen to do a presentation in front of all of these big wigs. I don't care what it is, because sometimes we forget these little things are the things that add to our credibility when we're talking online about ourselves and how we can help other people. So who would like to share? Does anybody have a question about an accomplishment that they did and they're wondering if it has any relevance? I'm sure some people do. In college, I won all these awards from material suppliers, awards. Oh, perfect. All awards are great. Awards are perfect. And my industry friends say they don't mean anything. Oh, I didn't read that part. Damn them. Okay, let's talk about this, Kendra. So first tell me, so if we look at it through the lens of the thing you're doing today, what's the business you're doing today? Jewelry and goldsmithing. Hello. And then you won all these awards. Listen, I don't know about your industry friends, and let's use the term friends loosely. Okay. Because I mean, to me, it just seems so crazy that they would say they don't mean anything when clearly they do. Clearly it's even in your field, right? Jewelry designing and goldsmithing is not an easy freaking job. That takes a crazy amount of precision and knowledge in order to execute something beautifully. So I would say they count. So there. Check. So we're not listening to the friends. You're very welcome, Kendra. Anybody else have anything that they're like, I'm not sure about this one? I was interviewed on CTV News Channel regarding the pandemic and the beauty industry. Awesome. So, Darlene, what's the business are you in the beauty industry? This is all very exciting. Spa. Oh, yes. First of all, guys, media is friggin' gold. And I'm talking all media. So Darlene, I don't know you. I don't know what your website looks like, but I definitely am like already in your profile in my head. I'm like on her Instagram, it better say, as seen on CTV, period. You may not think it's a big deal, but here's the thing. How many other people have been on CTV that you know? I can count a couple, and I know people in the industry, right? It's a big deal. So I want if you own a spa, yes, you've been seen on CTV, as seen on CTV News. Psh, hello, you're automatically an expert once you're on there. They don't just ask, they don't bring on crazies on there. Like, they need people who come across as experts. That is fantastic, Darlene. I can't wait for you to put that on your Instagram profile. The other thing I want everyone to do, because I know none of you guys are watching on your phone, because that would be a disservice to all of this juice. I want you to take a screenshot of your Instagram profile right now, because I want you to have this before and after, because I am offering to everybody who is on here, if you do the things I've said, I will give you an audit in your DMs. I will tell you if you did it right or you did it wrong, but I need to see the before and after, right? So what you'll do is you'll have the screenshot, and you will save it in your phone on your camera roll. And then when you do all the things we've talked about, when it's done, you're going to be like, hey, Monique, I've done the homework. And you're like, here's my before. And you're going to post the picture in my DM. And then you're going to be like, here's the after. And I'm going to go on your profile and look at it. And then I can tell you if you did it right, you did it wrong, but also I got to make sure that you did it. And if you didn't do it and you're just like, tell me what to do, I ain't going to audit it. Nice try. Because I get people who try to do that as well. Okay. All right, wonderful. So you're going to write out your juicy claim to fame, because all of this is going to be relevant when you're out building captions and thinking about what you want to talk about. Now let's talk about the aesthetic, right? If you are not naturally somebody who's like, Monique, I don't have the eye for these things, which is, I would say 80% of my clients. Like, I have no idea. Like colors? What colors? What goes together? What font? I don't know. The best way to get started is to do some detective work and look at some of the profiles online that you admire and write them down, okay? They don't need to be in your industry. They just need to be profiles that give you the feels that you want other people to get the feels on. So you're going to write them down, but you're going to make some real key observations when you write them down. I want you to describe their content to yourself. Like what is the vibe here? Is it colorful? Is it alive? Is it sleek? Is it serious? Is it vibrant? What is it? Then look at the types of photos that they're using. There's a reason you like what you're looking at, but you sometimes don't have the words for it, which is okay. Here, you want to look at the different things. Do they have a lot of selfies? Is it professional photography? Do you like it because it's super candid and weird and you're just like, I don't even know what they're doing here, but it attracts me every time. What angles are they taking things from? Like, this is how everything on Instagram, you can train yourself on all of it. Trust me, I was trained and it was all from practice and doing. And I had a friend who was Instagram genie back then, and she would message me literally and be like, Monique, that's a horrible post. Please take it down. Monique, that's a horrible picture. Please. I was like, I kind of liked it. She's like, please, for the love of God, take it down. So that's what I do for my clients now, right? Because you develop an eye for what works. And you want to look at like, what types of content are they focusing on? Is it lifestyle shots? Is it behind the scenes? Is it play? Is it like work, client work, things like that? So then you can start establishing for yourself, like, what are you going to focus on? What are the types of photos you think you want or you need? Because if anybody is planning a photo shoot when we open for any type of reason, even if you're doing one in your house and you're just taking pictures of things, you want to now do it from the lens of the types of photos you want to look at. Well, you're like, I like things that are at a bird's eye view. I like things that, you know, are not even really a selfie, but just shows like parts of my face. Like maybe it's just my eyes, maybe it's half my face. Maybe I don't want my face in it ever, and it's always just my hands are doing things. Like you're still bringing in a human element without having to put your face in there. Because I know some of you guys don't want to do it. I could tell you that you will get better engagement with it, but not if you are on there looking like you don't want to be there. Okay, trust me. So decide for yourself what types of photos you want to be taking. What is it going to look like? What's the aesthetic? Now, you've got to build your brand guide. Now, you can get one professionally done. I have clients, we do both. It's like I teach you how to do your own, but you also can hire us to get one done for you, right? So this is really a guiding tool for you, but also as you bring on new team and as you think about being your own graphic designer or bringing one on yourself, right? So this brand guide here, I'm going to actually give you a template where you can plug and play and create your own, okay? But here are the elements I want you to note that are in it. It's a basic guide. You know, some guides are like, you know, you'll go to like some agencies and they're like 20, 30 pages. It's not necessary, okay? Okay, at the beginning, what you need is you need to know your tone. You need to know the tone of voice that you're trying to convey, the colors you're going to be using, your fonts that you're going to stick to. You're going to have a mood board that captures the entire vibe with pictures, because pictures are worth 1,000 words. And if you have a logo, but a logo, again, it's not necessary, right? Okay, so I'm not going to go through every single piece because, you know, I don't need to read you guys a novel, but I want you to read it on your own, because the most important thing to note is really the colors in this mood board. Now, this is a version of a mood board. Can you guys see this? Can you see the Canva version? Okay, I want to make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, so this is what you guys are all going to get access to. And it's literally, it's plug and play. You drop in the colors, you drop in the photos, you put in your primary font, your secondary font, and now you have a one-page snapshot of your brand. That's it. This is what it is, right? And then when you're creating, when you're looking at graphics, when you're looking to do things, you're like, well, what are my colors? What fonts am I using? Okay, well, what's the vibe? And thinking of your juicy words, that's how you're going to pick some photos, right? So This is an example of one type of mood board. I'm also going to show you another one. Yes, that you get the bonus. You also can print out this page, write it in for yourself, you know, if you want to start like just workshopping what it would look like. I'm going to try. I know some people couldn't see, but I want you to see the entirety of it. So this is one we created for Francis Psychotherapy, Roxanne Francis, who's a psychotherapist. And we've got her colors, we did develop a logo for her, but she didn't have one when we started. We picked some pictures that really encapsulated her color story and who she wanted to be, picked a couple of fonts, and that's it. That's who she is. So now when she's creating things and she wants to create anything newly and she sends me something and I'm like, I don't remember that color being in your color palette. Even the vibrancy of the color, right? Because orange is not just orange or pink is not just pink. There are different tones. So you want to pick the tone that works for you, right? There's bright pink, there's blush, there's salmon, coral, there's freaking 9 million trillion colors, right? And you don't need to know the name of them, but you do want to pick the tone that speaks to you because you may not have the words to be able to explain what it is, right? Like I have the words so I can say something is muted or pastel or vibrant, you know, but you may not have it. You just want to be like, I like that blue, but I don't like that blue. So it's better to just find the blue you do like. And if you're looking for color combinations, Canva is a perfect place to look for that, but also Pinterest is also a wonderful place to look for that. When any of my clients are struggling with, Monique, I can't think of a color story. I know you told me to do the thing and I don't know how to do the thing. I'm like, okay, very simple. I'm going to take you to Pinterest. Now it's telling me to log in because I cleared all my cookies before this meeting. So I don't think it's going to let me do it unless I sign up. Oh, wait. Good. Okay, it kicked me out. That's fine. It kicked me into a new account. That's not a problem. So here, if I knew pink was the thing that I wanted, and I know I liked orange, and I put in pink and orange color story, it literally will populate a pink and orange color palette for me to look at. And I could be in here all day looking at just pink and orange color stories. So I can find pictures in here. I can find color combinations in here. And I just think it's such an easy way to get started because it can always change. I've changed my version of pink like 5 times. It's fine. Nobody cares. It's more of a guideline for you. And what I love about Pinterest, which you guys all probably already know, when you click on one photo, because it's such a smart platform, it gives you more like photos. So all right, Pinterest, just everybody relax. So it gives you more like photos after you scroll down, which I love. It'll give me more combinations. And then I may see a combination and I'm like, oh, I love this orange, pink, navy situation. I could put that in the search and then continue to keep looking. So that's a way to get started. If anyone is struggling with, I have no idea about color, because that can get you stopped. And we are all about no excuses today. Nothing's gonna get you stopped. Ain't gonna happen. Now, let's talk about your profile. Your profile, you land on Instagram and you've got what? 3 to 6 seconds to make a powerful first impression. That's it. It's not like Google, where they will put in your name somewhere and they'll find you on Instagram. No, unless they know your exact handle, they will not find you, right? So that means when someone does find you, if someone sent you there, if you showed up using your hashtag search, you want when they land there, you want them to be like, oh yes, this is who I've been looking for, right? So it starts with the basics. Your profile photo. So you're going to have a page of do's and don'ts on this profile photo. So it may seem real simple to know, but I'm telling you, I know some of you guys are going to send me your before and after photos, and some of you are going to have a dog in your place, a baby, a plant, a fish, a window, a selfie. Well, selfies are okay if you know how to take selfies, but I'm going to assert no one's going to hire a photographer by the time we speak. So I'm going to let that slide on the selfie one. But I want you to be facing the light. Like I want it bright. I want to see your face. I don't want it far away, you know, above the shoulders. and recent. I can't tell you how many people I've booked a consultation call. I'll look up their profile, see their face, and they'll come on the they'll come on the Zoom call. And I was like, who the hell are you? I'm like, it's not you, you know, it's fine for what it is. But to somebody else who's looking at you and working with you at the first time, it automatically lowers the trust level because you're like, you didn't present yourself as who you are. Not intentionally, but that's what happens. We're just all judgmental a-holes out here, okay? That's just what it is. We just got to embrace the truth. So you guys are going to all go and I'll update your photo. Another great thing is if you have a great photo, but it's got this distracting background, you can actually go in Canva and remove the background. Oh, I am telling you, when Canva came up with this, I was like, this is the most amazing thing that Canva could have done, right? So we're going to use this as an example. You go into, I don't know if this is the best example, but anyways, we're going to do it anyways. You go into effects at the top and it has this icon here, remove the background. So if you click on it, it takes a few seconds and it will literally it is so smart and genius. Remove the background and it will just leave my image on the front any day now. Because it's moving slow, Zoom. I don't know what's taking so long. There we go. Oh! I know some of your minds are super blown right now, right? Yes, I know some of you guys are super blown. And then you can leave it white or you can go and put in a color. I have my brand colors already in Canva. Well, we're definitely not going to make it pink. But if I wanted it to be another color, I literally can put this. Oh, we're going to move because it's so slow today. So basically what you can do is you can move that position to the back of the thing. It's like a layering thing. And you can you can have the background any color that you want, right? That's the point I was trying to make, but I don't want to slow things down. Okay. So if you have a beautiful photo, but the background's super distracting, now you know you can go into Canva and rip it out and everything is amazing. Isn't it? It's so amazing, right, Kendra? Yeah. Next thing, your title. Your title is prime real estate and everybody is ignoring this very important bolded text. So when you go into when you're creating your profile, it says put in your name, right? You create your handle, fine. Then you go and it says your name section. What would you put in? Of course, I should put in Monique Bryan. It's going to show up here bolded. Nope, nope, nope. That is a mistake. This bolded text is SEO friendly, search engine optimized. So this should always be the thing that your person is searching for. If they're searching for travel agent, it should be travel agent. If they're searching for spa, beauty, facialist, esthetician, coach, consultant, I don't care what it is, it should be here in the bolded text. Your name should be your handle, or your handle should be your name of your company. Now, here's the thing. People are going to say, should I change my handle? I have to see the handle in order to really tell you if you should. But if it's your name, the great thing about it is everything can always exist underneath it. If it's your company name, that's fine too. But what I like to say is, even if your name is not in your title and it's not in your handle, your name should be somewhere. So put it in the bio. Put it in the bio, put your name. You can put a little emoji in between or a little, divider icon, and then give the bio. But it's really tough when people don't put their name and then they reach out to people in the DM. And the thing I always have to say is, what's your name? It's nice to meet you, but what's your name, right? And it's something we just forget. Wait a second. I was like, where's my name? I was like, it's in my handle, so it's okay. Woo! I was like, whoa. So if it's not in your handle, have your name somewhere else. But I want you to get that this section is SEO optimized. So I put in this little graphic so you can see, you can type in personal branding and see who comes up. This person actually is interesting because he put his name. I know this personal branding expert actually, and he put his name, then he put a divider and he put personal branding and he still shows up in personal branding. So you can do that. It's just, you only have so much space. So it depends if your name fits. Like my name is, it's Monique. It's a bit longer. He has a very short name, so it works. But you want to show up when people are searching for these things. So there's Monique, personal branding coach. That's me. So pick something your people are searching for. Now let's talk about the bio. The bio. I'm giving you a very simple formula to use, and you're all going to do it. I'm going to give you some time to do it right now, actually. Because the bio gets people real stumped. Okay? Most people think that your bio needs to be clever and interesting and all of the things. It should be interesting enough that somebody wants to pay attention, but people want to know if you're for them and if you can solve their problem. Why am I even here? Unless you're a celebrity or you've got 50,000 followers where it doesn't really matter. If someone found you, they're just like, oh, this is, it's Kim Kardashian. I don't need her to tell me she has a reality TV show and a line. We know who she is. But people don't know who we are. So when they come, I want you to tell them who you help, the value you add, and you're going to actually use these words. I help, fill in the blank, so they can. What is the value you bring? What is the real thing that only by working with you, having your product, interacting with you, they're going to get? Then you can put in a couple of words around your expertise. So if you are certified in something, if you're a spa owner, you can put in an award if it's relevant to what you do and you think it's going to matter to another person, and you don't have to. Maybe you don't have any of these expertise. You're like, I don't know. I'm not putting anything in there. Right? But if you're a very distinct service in there, you want to be able to point to, and then you want a call to action. So the actual call to action is the link in the bio. When you read stuff, you're like, the link's in the bio. That link is the only thing that people can actually click and take you somewhere on the profile. Everything else is stagnant. You can't do anything. Even if someone puts it in a caption, you can't click any links in there. So it's hyperlinked in your bio. So you want that link to take them to the one place that you want them to be. Is it book a call with you? Is it get on your email list? Now, again, we've mentioned the email list. Nobody wants to get on your email list. You guys don't want to be on my email list. I want you to be in my email list, but I have to give you a reason to be there, right? So if you're meeting me for the first time, my link in the bio should probably not be get on my email list, right? It would be your lead magnet. It would be a tool. Get this checklist, get this download, come to this free webinar, book me to speak. What are some of your links in the bio? I'd love to hear them. And I know some of you guys have Linktree or some of those other platforms where you can click the one link and it pulls up a bunch of different links. That's a great tool. I use it, but I will say this. When you're starting out, it's not as effective if you want them to do the one thing. When you're starting out, I like to pick the one thing. So I'll give you an example. Right now, if you go and click Monique's link in the bio, it'll bring up 5 or 6 things going on, which is fine. But for people we think people want choice, but they don't really. So those links better be really damn different. Or when Monique does her webinar next month, From Brand to Bank, that link will only be a registration link. You can't do anything else. If you want to book Monique to do anything else, you'll have to go look her up. But because I know that is my number one goal, and that comes back to strategy, right? What's our strategy for the month? Pick it. It can change all the time. So direct them exactly where you want them to go. So who wants to be the first one up to bat? I help, so you can, blah, blah, blah. And then, the call to link, the call to action is usually something like click the link below, emoji with the finger down. Here's an example of Roxanne, her before and after. She's got book a consult. That's literally what it is. She has other things now, I'm sure, but I didn't mention that you can actually put hashtags are also searchable in your bio. If you have space, you can put hashtags in your bio that are very specific to what it is that you do. It's a great way to also be found if you have space, but it's more important. There's no point in putting hashtags if your bio is crap, right? Because people come, they find you, and you don't tell them anything, and they leave. So anyone have a bio they want to share? Don't be shy. And you still have the
Okay.
option of sending it to me later.
I'll be brave
Yes.
because I'm working on it. So right now my bio, do you want the one that's there now or the one that I just imagined now that you're telling us?
You took a before picture?
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. Tell us the after. Tell us the after.
Okay. So I didn't like the word help, but maybe I need it. So I inspire people and organizations to build equity, diversity, and inclusion. The one or two words: as a speaker, expert, and advocate with over 25 years in PR. Connect with me or book me to speak, present, or consult.
All of it's wonderful, and it will never fit in 150
I
characters.
know. Like I've got to cut it
I
down.
was like, wait a second. I was all excited, and I was like, wait a second. Did she try to actually put this in Instagram? Because she didn't get those first three
I'm
sentences.
writing notes. Yeah.
Okay, so I know some of you guys are not going to like I help, but here's the thing. People want to know how you help. The inspire piece is up for interpretation,
Yep.
right? So if I help individuals and companies through, let's just say, like I want to get a real tangible thing through workshop speaking and blank
Yeah.
around diversity and inclusion.
Yeah.
And then you've got 25 plus years. And again, you guys all know how to abbreviate things on Instagram, right? So plus with the actual plus, years with YRS, experience. If experience fits, otherwise it's EXP, I'd probably put.
Yeah.
And then what was the last thing? Book for a consult?
Yeah. Book me to speak, present, or consult.
I would either just put work with me,
Yeah.
finger arrow emoji down. Then there's a link, and that link could have, you get to decide. It could have a link, speak, present, workshop, and each one takes them to a different thing. Or it literally just goes to your calendar, a calendar link where people can book, and that's attached to an intake form where you can find out more about what it is that they want.
Yeah.
Right? Or, definitely have something like expert in these spaces. If there's any place you spoke that you're allowed to say you did speak at that would add to your credibility, I would probably add that. Leading workshops 500 plus, 5,000 plus, or, worked with TD, worked with a financial institution. Something, you could put something like that in. Totally your call if you do have an industry that you specifically work with.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Anybody else? We'll take one more person.
Monique, I think Kendra Rose said that she would. We could look at hers.
Oh, amazing. Can Kendra take herself off mute and give it to me?
Hello. Sorry, I've been avoiding it.
I know.
Thank you for looking at my profile. So I have it pulled up on my phone, and I really thought having different fonts would be great. It's been like that for about a year. So my first thing is Kendra Rose Jewelry, and it says design and fashion. I'm not sure if I can change that because that's like the Instagram category. It's like in gray.
Yeah, you can't change the category.
Okay, I was gonna say, 'cause I hate that, but then I say goldsmith with a little sparkle emoji beside it, but I put it in bolded Gothic script, which
Yes,
might be
you did.
hard to read.
It is hard to read.
Okay,
I'm on it
so
now.
I'm gonna change it, but to me, I love that because I'm so weird and quirky, but I can totally see why it wouldn't be easy
Here.
to read.
Can
There we
everybody
go.
see it now? I put it on the
Yeah.
other screen.
Okay, yeah, it looks a little worse
Yeah.
on the
It's-
desktop.
Yeah, it's tough to read for sure because I can't read because I was a former jewelry designer. I know it says goldsmith,
Yeah,
but I wouldn't. I would make it super clear.
kind of like
and make
yours.
I would make it easier to read.
Okay, this is why I asked and brought it up because I kind of knew. I had a feeling, right?
Yeah. So where's the I help? I know you do bespoke jewelry, but
I haven't edited it today. Like it's been like this for the last few months. Like this is just.
oh yeah, well we're gonna do it right now though.
Oh, okay. You want edit?
I want
All
you.
right,
I want you to tell me what would you like it to say? What could you see it saying?
I help people to express themselves through custom fine jewelry, but that seems kind of long.
No, you probably could fit that in.
You think so?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So here's what I would say. Because you already have your name in your handle, you can change your title that says custom made jewelry as opposed to Kendra Rose custom made jewelry because you've got it in 2 places already, and that's prime real estate,
Okay.
right? So custom made jewelry would be in your title where your name is currently. Then you can say, because I'm not as, now that I see your profile picture, because I was like, I've been seeing your profile picture in my comments, right? And I was like, oh, that's such a cute profile picture.
Oh, thank you. Like, I paid for it.
Got good photos as well,
Okay, cool.
which is really great. It's very clear what you do. Yes, I remember looking this. Yes, you're great with the photography, placement, color. It looks, I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it.
Oh,
It
thank you.
is just the bio piece, because even the Ontario located, do you ship across Canada?
Yes, I ship wherever.
Oh, perfect. I would love it. You don't even need to put Ontario located. You've got the Canadian flag, right? But you could put a world emoji because you ship across the world.
There, I'm trying to edit it as you go. Sorry if I'm.
Oh, you cheater!
I'm like trying to keep up. I'm like,
And you could put international shipping, right?
Okay.
I don't know if you do free shipping, local free shipping, or Canadian wide free shipping. Like, give people a little bit of something to make them be like, because the custom made jewelry piece is fine, but if they're that one little hook piece would be like, what makes it like, why your custom made jewelry?
Okay.
Like jewelry for any occasion, or let's make it together or something. Like, I don't know.
I have this really great thing. I think Dawn Bourne helped me come up with it. And it was like for the millennial woman that doesn't want to be trendy, but wants to set her own trends.
Hello.
Right? Like, I'm so proud of that, but I think you're right. And I need to put that.
Girl.
But should I put millennial in? I really don't want to limit. I don't want to limit people.
Well, here's the thing. I would look at, I know a lot of people have a problem niching down, but when you niche down, you speak to a direct customer and it's easier to sell to them.
Okay.
So I would look at your customer base that you currently sell to. I would look at your, okay. That's who I would speak to then. You can it doesn't mean other people can't buy it, right? But it does speak to who you want to be speaking to, because your copy will be different. Your pictures will appeal to them. People who find it will be like, they either find it for themselves, or maybe if they're in an older demographic, they find it for their daughters or their loved ones who are in that space.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be afraid to niche down. I would, if anything, for all of you guys, my number one rule is double down on your lane.
Okay.
Like triple down on it until you're so well known on it, you build an extension line of whatever it is you do.
I'm like reeling, so I'm going to change my font. I'm going to add worldwide shipping. I'm going to add my slogan and my hook, and then from there, I think I'll regroup with you and see if I've covered my base. Or
yes, please.
I'm
this
so
is awesome.
excited. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Okay, perfect. Okay, guys, so you know how to do the bio. If you're struggling, you can and the thing is, your bio can change. Monique has a lot of bios. I would say I have at least 20 bios. I have them in my notepad on my phone. Depending on what's happening, I copy and paste and put it over into my Instagram. Right? And that's another thing too. If you're looking to try and structure the layout, like if you're like, everything looks jumbled together, I want to put spaces in, just create it outside of the app and then copy and paste it into the app. The app will tell you if it doesn't fit, right? And you play with it until it does fit. But your bio can change anytime. If you're promoting something newly, you can always change it up. Okay, so now let's talk about the grid. Let's talk about the feed and the essentials, okay? The do's, the don'ts. And I say this, there's some things take with a grain of salt. There's other things that you'll probably just logically you'll want to follow. But the reality is the grid can be whatever you want it to be, as long as it's authentic to you and how you want to show up. But I want you to always keep in mind, Instagram is a media-based tool. It is based around photography. It was built as a photo tool. It will always be a photo tool. Maybe it'll turn to a video tool. But the point is, when people are scrolling, they have to stop on something before they read all the juice that you're bringing. So that means the photo needs to look appealing. It needs to look Instagram worthy, as we say. So you've got your do's and don'ts. I'm going to let you read that on your own because this will really help guide you when you're deciding to pick photos and stuff. But things like, you know, we've talked about using brand fonts and keeping them the similar size. Lighting is important. Trying to keep a consistent look throughout is important, especially when you're starting. As you grow, it's going to matter less. People are going to care less. But when you're coming out the gate, especially if you're thinking, okay, Monique, I know LinkedIn is not where my customer is. I'm going to be not LinkedIn. I know Instagram is not where my customer is that much. I do want to play over here, but really I'm going to spend all my time over on LinkedIn. Then you want and we're going to talk about your top 9, the 9 boxes, the first 9 boxes of your Instagram, your bio. You want it just set up so if someone does find you, that it's clean and on brand. It doesn't have to be like, oh, she's got 9,000 things. Oh, she's never been here in a while. Yeah, but when you come on here, it's like your website. You're not updating it all the time. And this is only for people who don't think Instagram is going to be a big part of their business. You don't need to update it all the time, but when people find it, it's still leaving an impression. So you want the impression to be a good one. So you still want your photos to look right. And you want it, I always like to think of these 9 boxes. So when I say top 9, these are your 9, the first 9 boxes somebody sees. The first thing they're probably going to see are the first 3. If they like what they see, they're going to go to the next 3. And they probably won't go too far past the 9. Not really. Nobody really cares. You know, some people are creeping you, so they probably will. But I like to think about this as this is your portfolio. What do you want people to know about you? You have it all right here. And we're going to talk about what these top 9 boxes are. I'm going to actually give you some ideas. So you got the do's and then you got the don'ts. So, I mean, there's a lot of don'ts, but what really you want people to be able to read it. If you do use text is not a bad thing. You just don't want to use so much text that somebody is like sitting there reading a novel with a magnifying glass. They're just not going to read it, right? Now, the top 9, if you look at it as your portfolio, you will always put out great content because top 9 is always top 9. It's always revolving, right? So if you got your top 9, you're always going to be putting your best polished foot forward. So here's an example. It's the exact example that I give to all of my students. If you're like, how do I get started? Here are your posts. These are your topics. You use your strategy. What are you going to be talking about that month? You use your topics that you put underneath your pillars. What's that one topic? And if somebody has one, we can literally do it right now. We can talk about it right this second and map it out. But you had to have done the work from last week. So that means you have pillars, you've got topics, you know, you're really ready to go. So this is an easy way to get started if you're trying to struggle with your top 9. The first one, I always like to be like, this is something that also is repeatable. This isn't like, oh, I did these top 9. Next, after the 9 are done, I need a new top 9. You do not. You literally can follow this formula week to week, month to month. Except for the introduce yourself piece. So the very first one says, introduce yourself to your audience. And it starts with something like, I may have some new followers, so I wanted to introduce myself. And then you talk about yourself, right? And the key to that post is you ask your last call to action piece, and we'll talk about the structure of the caption in a minute, is I'd love to know more about you. Put your handle below, put who you are below, tell me about yourself below. It creates conversation, right? So every few months I do hey, I'd like to reintroduce myself post. Some people have been following me for years. They don't care. New things have happened, right? New photo, new experiences. And I say things like, I like this. I hate this. I work in this space. I like to work with these people. My favorite saying is that, you know, so you just make it fun so people get to know you. Quotes are always great. And I'm going to show you how I map out like all the photos and things like that in a minute. You can share your knowledge and expertise, show behind the scenes. Last week we were talking a little bit about like bragging about yourself and hiding the brag inside the story. So you can talk about your accomplishments and not feel any ickiness about it. An inspirational photo, whatever inspirational means to you. a highlight of the week, something great that's happened. That could be something like, oh my gosh, I changed my jogging pants to go outside because I haven't left my house in 3 days. That was me 3 days ago, right? It was exciting. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, Monique, I feel the same way. You know, someone's like, can I bring you a Starbucks? And I'm like, oh my God, that's so sweet. I was like, but no, me going to Starbucks is an outing. I need to go and physically go because I have nowhere else to go. Okay. So you've got blank spaces for yourself. So you can literally print this out, or you can even just draw this out, you know, depending on, I don't know who has printers anymore. I happen to have one, but not everybody has one. And like draw the boxes out and write in what you think those 9 boxes should be. So between last week and this week, you have different ways of planning out your content for depending on how you like to learn. And so the last week's online juicy content strategy, you could map everything I'm talking about. You could literally do it inside of that document. I happen to be a very visual learner, so I realized after I created that document, I was like, this isn't how Monique likes to learn. I need to see the boxes and put words in the boxes, right? So I just want you to know, in case anyone's like, well, you showed us that and now you're showing us this. It depends on how you like to learn. Both of them work. Both of them are fine. So you can physically map it out, or you can do it on an online tool and map it out and capture it. But you do want to capture it somewhere so you know how to like roll out your strategy. So you definitely want to remember your pillars as you're building. If you're struggling with what to post, I need you to go back to last week's because you've got tons and tons of info in there on how do I find my pillars? What are the topics? And then I don't have any topics. Where can you look? There's a cheat sheet in there as well. So have your pillars ready to go. Remember the checklist of all the things you want to have in advance so you can start mapping out your content. So if you wanted to sit down this weekend, for example, and map out your content, these are some of the things I want you to have ready, right? You want to have some quotes. You want to know your strategy. What do you want people to do? Have some of your call to actions ready, right? Like if it's really just like book a call with me, stay tuned for next week. It doesn't matter what it is, but have it ready to go. And I would encourage everybody to build out at least 1 week's worth of content before next week. Like it doesn't need to have, like if you go on my Instagram, you'll be like, Monique has these really long captions. Monique happens to be long-winded. That's the only explanation I have for that. You don't need to have all those things in there, but you do want to know how to structure a caption, which is what we're going to talk about. Juicy captions. So there are 4 ingredients. I don't know. Everyone see that? Is it big enough? 4 ingredients to a juicy caption. Okay. Your title, the story, because we all remember through story, the lesson that you're trying to convey or the message, and the call to action. These are the 4 pieces. However, and it tells you what those pieces are. When you're writing it, I actually want you to think about it in reverse. I want you to start with what you want them to do. So this comes back to the strategy. Everything you're telling them in a caption is going to lead them somewhere. There's a reason you're doing this, post this caption at all. So you need to start with the call to action. Then what's the lesson? What do you actually want them to learn? What do you want them to do? Then what story are you going to use to make your point? How are you going to wrap? What's the case study, the memory, the thing that you're using? And then you can create the title. If you get wrapped up in the title, you're going to forget all the juice in the middle. So the title can totally come after the fact. So if you think about creating your captions in this sequence, I find this really helps map it out a lot easier. So if I give you an example, for myself, next month it's going to be about join, the Juicy Brand On Demand membership. Doors are open. That is my call to action for people. And the lesson in it is going to be, you'll get there faster to building your brand if you have the roadmap. That's what I know I want them to know, because I know inside of my course, that is what the ultimate teaching tool is. And the story is actually the one of Roxanne. When I met Roxanne, she didn't have an online presence. She had like 200 followers, but she had like this dire need to be a speaker, get out of this, trading time for money. And she was on Instagram posting, and she was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just posting. And then it wasn't after being in the program, 6 months later, she's like, oh my God, I have literally been posting for 6 months with nothing happening. I just didn't have the roadmap. I just didn't have the tools, right? So the title ends up being Stop Wasting Your Time. That's the title. That's the grab, right? But I didn't come up with the title first. I was like, what do I want to teach them? What do I need them to know? I need them to know they need a roadmap. You'll get there faster with a roadmap. Where's my proof? It's in the story. I have lots of stories like that. So that is how I want to encourage you to create your caption and have fun with it. And if you're building out a week's worth of content, you will be able to build out a lot of captions in one sitting, right? So, a lot of you guys know about that time switching, right? Like when your mind, task switching, when your mind has to go to one thing, it takes 20 minutes for it to get, assimilate to I'm sitting down doing this new task. So if you're sitting down, I really want to encourage you to batch your tasks. Because if I was talking about the membership and joining it, I would map out the whole 2 week, 3-4 week runway. Because I was like, okay, well, in week 1, it's going to be leading them up. And week 2, it's going to be warming them up, come into the registration. And week 3 is going to be like, hey, did you miss it? And week 4 is going to be like, guys, doors are closing. And then building content around each one of those strategies, right? But I got to know the strategy in order to know what the heck I'm building, right? Because then you can get creative with what are the photos and the videos and the lessons and all of that. But first, you got to know the strategy. So all of you guys have to have your strategy. And then the bonus tools, and we'll look at Canva and later in a minute. These are the tools. There's a lot of tools out there. So these are by no means the only tools, or I can't even say if they're the best tools. I can't speak to that. I can only speak to what I know works. So Canva, I can't speak about it enough. I do have an affiliate link. I am a partner. Same thing with Later. So any link I give you, I am an affiliate. I'm not going to pretend. You know it. I know it. Mixed captions is a great way if you want to get really creative with video and put captions, right? Which you can make them really interesting, because a lot of people we think are listening, more people are watching than listening. They're actually watching it on silent a lot of the time. Charmaine, I see your emoji hand up. I love the emoji hand in Zoom. Wait, you're on mute.
Yeah, I was just looking for it. So I had 2 questions related to what we're doing, but I want you to finish your thought first.
What was I saying? Oh,
So you were talking about.
Oh yes, I remember now. I was saying that more people are watching than listening. So if you're creating something, you want to keep that in mind with captions, right? You want to have captions, or you want to have a cover photo that lead people into what it is they're about to watch. Or if you are doing stories and you're talking about a lot of things and there's points you want to hit home, you don't need to write the whole thing out. You just write, the little synopsis, the little come to the masterclass, or this is really interesting, or I thought about this thing, whatever it is to get people to maybe take it off mute and listen to you. Now you can go.
Okay, so I had 2 questions. One was about the biopic.
Yeah.
In terms of, are we using our brand pillars to determine what kind of picture we're taking, whether it's going to be more formal, more casual?
That's a really good question. I'm going to say to keep it clean and professional.
Okay.
Personally. Nothing wrong. You can totally get creative with it. So let's just use a real world example. What are you considering for yours? Are you considering a personality photo, a casual photo, a professional photo?
Eventually it'll be more of a professional. It'll be a VIP on demand photo, but for now it'd be probably more a very COVID friendly, updated selfie type.
Yes,
photo.
That can totally be done. That's totally fine. So really, when I say professional, what I mean is following the rules of things are it's up close, so I can see your face. It's not far away. It doesn't have a lot of crazy things in the background that are distracting, right? And if anyone is doing selfies, like, and they're wanting to take photos, and like, get yourself a tripod, like $20 on Amazon. Put your phone on it. Have the one that comes with the remote, with a little, and you literally could set it up. Oh wait, I just realized I don't know if you guys can see me on that screen. Here we are. Now you can see me. Tripod. I have like 3 of these, different heights, do different things. That can connect your phone, sit it down, put it at a height you like. I stack a bunch of books. It usually comes with a little remote that is Bluetooth friendly, and you just chew, pose it up. Make sure you're facing a light source so it's hitting you. You can either have lights or sit in front of a window and take some photos. That's what I would recommend.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. And then the other question was when you were talking about the caption.
Yeah.
The title. I'm not really sure I understand what you mean by a title.
Okay.
Like, is it?
The title is when you go, actually, I will show you on my phone. When you go when you're looking at an Instagram post, I'm going to show you this one. You see my phone there? Right there, that says Monique Bryan _co, which is me. I posted it. And the first thing that they see, you got like only a few words that you can use before you can read the rest of a caption. So the title is, can I love on myself a little bit today? Right? Because this is a testimonial from a client. So the title is like that first little preamble into what it is you're going to be talking about, but you want to capture them, right? So the next one here, you said, well, what I'm talking about is actually inside of the picture, but the title is, I know, shocking, right? But then when I press more, it'll give you the rest of the caption. So you don't want to hide like there's a lot of stuff that's going to be great in the caption, but you got to grab them first. The photo may do it, but the first thing they're going to do is be like, oh, what is this post about? I have no idea what this post is about. Right? Does that make sense? Perfect.
Yes, it does. Thanks.
Amazing. Okay, guys. So in terms of tools, you have the tools here. The last 2 I'll talk about is Continual, which is if you're doing stories, you can only do 15-second posts for stories. And what's great is sometimes you're like, well, I can't be on stories all the time, just doing 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds. You can create a video by yourself on your phone, out in your camera app, record it, then you can take it into Continual and it will break it up into 15 seconds for you, 15-second pieces. Now, be careful with that because 15 seconds is a very short time. So if you created a 30-minute video, it ain't gonna happen, right? So things like 2 minutes, 3 minutes is something you really want to hit home. You can take it into Continual and it will break it up for you. Because Instagram doesn't let you, like if I had a video and I dropped it into my stories, it's only going to take the first 60 seconds, the first minute and break it up. And then you don't have the rest of it. And this is very technical, but this is very much about stories, right? So here, maybe I'll show you. So if you go into Continual, it looks like this, right? And it says you can record. I've never recorded inside the app. I'm sure you can, but I always do my videos ahead of time, or I like to take a clip. I go live every Monday. So even though it's a 30 minutes live, I take that live and I take a snippet of the live to let people know what they missed. So if I go in to my videos, here's Monique crazy on the floor, right? And this was one of them. This was last week's. So you'll see, it won't even let me at the top. You can see the sliding situation, this yellow box here up top. I can take a little piece of it and create those 15 seconds that I can now go put on my stories. So if I take a little snippet of it, the only thing is you can't see how much it is. You can listen to it and find out what's in it, but because I have so many screens on, it's not going to let me listen to it. But I did I was doing a where you can find content, right? So if I pick that little part that I've chosen in the yellow section and I choose it, you'll see it says exporting clip. and it will continue to do that till all the clips are finished. And then it will save it in my camera roll, and I can go and post those. I can post those on stories. I can post them on the feed. I can post them in reels. I can do all kinds of things with them, but it breaks it up for you. I was like, I said, instead of me explaining it, I should probably show you how that works, right? Okay, so that's going to take a while now. Who knows? So now we have, okay, we're done at 12, but I do want to just make sure that I moved it. Oh, okay. I want to reiterate that you guys have the brand kit that you can go and drop things in, drop in colors, drop in pictures, all of that. Then, can you please stop screen sharing, go away. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, but somebody will have to call them out because I don't see them. Or raise your hand emoji, which I was like, I forgot about that. I love the hand emoji.
Monique, there is a couple questions in the chat.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One from, I believe it's Julie joining us from the Barrie Chamber. So she's talking about the top 9 posts. She asked, is it a good idea to rotate through those types of posts regularly?
So you mean, Julie, do you mean like the topics regularly? What do you, I don't even know what you mean. Where's I gotta find the chat box. As soon as I find the chat box, I can read it. Oh, now I've moved that box. Jenna, are you seeing her response? Or, I mean, Julie, you can also take yourself off mute and just ask me as well. Might be faster.
Yeah, I don't see a response. I took it as the topics, yeah, but maybe.
You can, okay, so the top 9 are some of the ones that I chose were basically giving you a jumping, like a start off point for you building your top 9 boxes. You can change them. They can be whatever you want them to be. But the idea is to always think about it as if somebody was coming here for the first time and they were to read my 9 posts, would they be happy with who I am, the value I bring? Would they want to hire me? I always like to ask myself, if I saw this, would I know more about me? Would I be interested? What is the next question?
The next question comes from Jen Christie. Do you have any advice around how to optimize the location information? So for her local business, she always uses our business location. Should I mix that up and use our village/county?
Yes.
And Julie said that your response makes sense. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, in terms of the location, I would switch it up. So if you're using the location specific to your business, that's good because people know where to find you. But I would also switch it up to be your county, your area, because people may, if they don't know you, but they're searching in that area for things, you will show up. And also you can capitalize on that too by using the location information in your stories as well. So if you're creating a story, you want to make sure you use that location icon on your story as well for that area. So people know when they're searching for that thing, like for example, like when I went to Barcelona and I was at this cafe and I was like, oh my God, it's so amazing. It's so wonderful. For anybody who also is searching Barcelona and looking for things to do, I'm going to show up in their feed now. Because they're going to be looking for, I've literally put Barcelona as my location in my stories and in the feed. Yes. Okay, next question.
So to follow on with that question, Julie from the Chamber asked, do people search by location or is it more that the algorithms will bring up content close to their location?
Both. Some people do search by location, and Instagram, I will not pretend to know what Instagram is doing with their algorithm, but they will show you things if they think that's content you will like. So if somebody is in, Toronto, and they, have tagged themselves in Toronto, I'm not going to see everything because it's in Toronto because I'm in Toronto. They're going to show me things based on my user activity. So if they're showcasing like a restaurant in Toronto and I'm looking at a whole bunch of burgers that day, which happens on my feed, they will probably show me something in my discovery. Next question.
I have a question actually for that too. So should we be hashtagging your county or area too when you're doing hashtags?
I would.
You would? Okay.
Yeah, because if people are searching for that area for something, if they're looking for, I don't know, small business in Barrie, you know, they very well could find you. Is that the last question?
One
Jim?
more.
Okay.
Sorry, my children.
Mommy.
Okay. So we.
Do you want me to help, Jenna?
You're like, you're
Yeah.
off mute, mommy. We know it.
And I bet you
Thank
20
you.
bucks, they were like so quiet before that. So Julie from the chamber said they share info about businesses and they tag the restaurant location as well as their business. Do they get a notification for that? Or is it more about when people are looking for them?
If you've tagged them, they should get a notification. Like if you at them, they will get a notification.
Like, you know, like in the at, like the stickery thing. Look at how good I am at this.
Yeah, they will.
Um,
Just like if anybody tags me, like if you're like, take a screenshot of how amazing this is and you tag me, I will see it in my DMs. And it will give me an option. It'll say add to your story, right? So if you tagged me in my story, it will say add to my story like you guys have done in Accelerator. And then I can share it with my community. And it just keeps the juice going.
That's good. She's curious if you get a notification for the location thing. So like when you click location, did they also get a notification of that, or that's just like
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
The location one, I don't think you don't get a notification. The at you do.
Okay, that's great. And Julie, if you just
So I would do both.
The other question came in from Mackenzie from the Sandbox. Hi, Mackenzie. Does later.com give you the ability to automate story posts and carousel posts versus the one image?
So what I will say is they do give you the option, and I've tried to do so they do the carousel posts because I've had a conversation with them. I was in one of their studies and they said they do the carousel posts, but then when I tried to do the carousel posts, it didn't actually work. Now, what I've been told is it doesn't you can do a carousel post, but instead of them automatically posting it for you, it won't automatically like schedule it and post it for you. It will send you an alert that it's time to post it, and then you still have to go and post it. But does it automatically post carousels? I'm going to say no, because it hasn't so far. It's not working. The story one, I believe that it does. I don't do scheduled stories, but I have had a manager, social media manager, do it for me, and they did do it. So it does do it. I just don't use it.
Well, thanks.
And I probably should. But speaking of later, we do have to talk about later. Because it's such an amazing tool. And what's great is you can see your analytics in here. You can put your hashtags in here, schedule everything in here. So they have like the stories option where you can go and schedule it. That's a great task for me, Monique, to take on, to schedule her stories. But I like to do my stories on the fly, so that's probably the problem. So all you have to do, just for anyone who is not using one of these tools yet, you load up your images and you literally drag and drop it at the time slot you want it to be at. And it will tell you, okay, so this one, for example, it's like your image is too tall for Instagram. So what's great is I can edit the image right here inside of the app. So you can make it the right size, and then you can write your caption. So we'll tell you exactly. Here, you want it Instagram size? You want it portrait size? What do you want it to show up as? So we're going to pick this one. It'll update it. And then you can see, it'll tell you when it's, right now it's defaulted to publish at that time. You can change when you want it to auto-publish. You can type in all of your captions. You can get your hashtag suggestions in here. So if you're struggling with, I don't know anything about hashtags, great. Get your suggestions. So if Monique puts in personal branding and see what it suggests. So these are the ones that are relevant, but remember we talked about not using ones that are over, if possible, 250,000. So of course they're going to give you the ones that are in the millions, the most relevant, but the likelihood that I'm going to show up in those places aren't very likely, right? So you want to pick things under a million, under 250,000. So brand strategy, you know, is going to be a good one. It doesn't mean you can't mix it up and bring in other ones, but I'm going to advise you to try not to be up in the millions if possible. Instagram marketing, we'll use this one. This is under a million, we'll do this, and we can insert it. And it will insert it right inside of the caption, right? So here's what I'll say about hashtags and putting them in captions. I will tell you the perfect place to put hashtags are not directly in the caption. They make things muddy, right? So if I wrote this caption, blah, 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 and it was really long, if I was putting it in the caption, I would do this. So someone can read all of my juice, and then at the very bottom, there's hashtags. But a better place for the hashtags are add to first comment. You see how it even tells you, it has that little hashtag icon here? If you put it in the first comment, your caption stays just a caption. It has all the juice in there, and then it means underneath it, as if someone wrote the first comment, you'll see the hashtags underneath it. So it doesn't muddy up the caption, and that's where and they still work, and that's where I would put them. You can also add an additional link in the bio. So if you wanted someone to just be able to click this and go to something directly, you can go in here and you can put the URL. You can add the location, you can tag people. So I just feel like there's a lot in here all in one place that's really, really useful. And then another great thing they just added recently is the collect media piece. So you can search, so you know how when people repost other people, which can be great, but they don't always credit them, right? So you can go in and find other people's content. Now, if you're the actual person with the content, I don't know how much they love it, but it is what it is. The great thing is you can't repost their content without crediting them when you use this app. So this is somebody I follow. I know the owner of this business, so she doesn't have a problem if I repost her content. But here's what happens when I do repost it, right? So say I wanted to use this affirmation and I want to add it to my library because I'm like, yep, I want to post this one, definitely. I go back to my media library. Like I'm going to use this one. Move faster. Okay, it's still loading. Clearly I have no patience. So the image will populate here, but as you can see, the first line is media source, and it goes directly, it basically is telling you, this is not my media. This is their media, and this is where you could find it. And they've added in this hashtag photo is by WeRise Experience, which is where I took it from. So this is a great place where you can share other people's content. Like if you are, who's in travel? Somebody was in travel talking about the different places and things like that they want to encourage other people to go to. So all of these different travel sites have all this amazing photography. You can go and put it in there, use the photography. They still get credit, and it's great because it brings attention to them that they wouldn't otherwise get because they don't have access to your audience yet. So I think this is a really great tool that they added for sure. And that's later. And then last thing I'll say is we'll talk a little bit about Canva for a second, but Canva is a great place where you can basically, I mean, if you look at mine has a million things in it, but you can load your brand kit in here with your logo, your colors, all of that stuff, your fonts. They have a new feature where you can plan out your content. I have not tried it yet, so we'll see how that goes over time. But if you're somebody who's like, I really need to see my images and what they're going to look like, you can plan out what it's going to look like right here in the tool. So if you load in all of your photos, for example, you can label them, you can date them, right? So this was from a previous month. This started in January. So this is what would happen. It would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And this is all be in order already. So I literally can download all of this, throw it into later, and schedule it, right? Now, again, this is all about how you choose to plan out content, right? This is a way that I know a lot of my clients like to, because they like to see everything. They want to see all the photos up close. What is it going to look like? And the other great thing that I like inside of here, so later you can go write your captions, but if you had a picture and you were like, oh, what am I going to write here? I have an idea. You can use the comment box and write your caption in here and map it all out before you ever even schedule it. And you literally just copy and paste the comment over into the caption. Or if you had a social media manager, this would also be a great way for them to help you plan out the content. You could write the captions, they could do the pictures, or vice versa. And then you can drop everything over into later. So I'm going to stop share. And because I think I've covered a lot, and I'm sure some of your brains like, wow. So what I'll say is I want to encourage you to take your time, give yourself grace. I've been doing this for years now, and it's my business to know it. So obviously that's why I know it, but I don't expect you to know all of these things. The most important thing is to decide you're going to be consistent, you're going to be authentically you, and you're going to look through the lens of your brand. That's it. That's all you need to focus on, right? And video is getting the most engagement. So if you want engagement, even if you hate it, you should be doing video. The end.